Test 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to get started right away. We're already a couple minutes after 8, so thank you so much for coming to get some information about our upcoming fundraiser. I'd be remiss if I didn't say, first of all, that I'm thrilled that you yourself, if you are a youth, or your child is coming on the mission trip. It's exciting to see the trips take shape, and there's a lot of details still to fall into place, but we are here tonight to talk about making the money for our trips and less about the details of the actual trip. So if you're going on the San Diego trip, we are going to have a meeting on April 22nd, which will be all the further details about the logistics of the actual trip. Now, I will say the airfare is not secured yet, so if you have any questions that you want to talk to me about, now's your chance. But let's do that afterwards. So the meeting for tonight, large purpose is just to talk about our special event on the 15th of March. So next slide. We have a schedule for that day, which is pretty much the same as last year with a little bit of we kind of fine-tune it every single year, but we have done this. I will send these out via PDF too, so that you have them. They'll go in a recap to everyone tomorrow. We have done this spaghetti dinner as long as I've been here, and I know Rachel did it before me. I'm not sure if Pear did it before her, but former youth directors, yeah, Terry's nodding. She's been here longer than me on staff. So it's a very, very fun event with an auction. The auction has evolved. It is now fully online and opens at 7 in the morning. So you will we already have the link. It's just that it doesn't make sense to share it right now because Leslie just started putting items into the auction this morning. So I haven't really shared that at all yet, just because there's nothing to look at. But there is an online link, and all of the bidding is done online. So that will open and become live at 7 a.m. on Sunday, March 15th. As to noted on the top is that on Saturday, March 14th from 10 to 12, because we typically get quite a few people for this, I have shortened that to just 2 hours. We will do table setup for the dinner in Fellowship Hall. But then back to Sunday, we have 9:30 worship, and we will, if we still have tickets left, we will sell spaghetti dinner tickets that morning. We can sell up to 200. So each student is asked to invite family and friends. There's no minimum, each student needs to sell a certain number of tickets. We just ask that you be our voice in the community and invite others to attend. At 1:30, we'll start doing some setup, and the kitchen staff will arrive, and those are by extra sign-ups. So what's going to happen is you will get a Sign Up Genius link tomorrow that will have all the different areas that you can sign up to help. All of the youth are expected to be here unless they have a conflict, but between 3 and 8-ish p.m., right? 3 o'clock is when we'll have our waitstaff training. So you'll notice that in past we've had that as early as 1:30 or 2 o'clock. I pushed that back because the auction viewing starts at 3 o'clock in the narthex. One of the things that I decided is that we don't need to have a whole ton of, we kind of overwhelm, especially when we have 42 youth going to San Diego and then the confirmation trip also, it can be overwhelming when this place is packed with youth. Another tweak that we did is that we're not going to do appetizers this year. We've always had a lot of leftover mozzarella sticks. It was what we've typically served, and so it's mid-afternoon. We're going to have some refreshments, lemonade and things to drink, but then we're going to save the money on those appetizers, and just the dinner starts at 5. So we won't have any app staff, but we will have people helping with the auction sign-in and different things like that. But at 3 o'clock, everybody will be in for the wait staff training, except the people that have done that before, that I'll have people at the check-in tables, because that'll start right at 3. So I will contact people specifically to do the sign-in tables, but otherwise everybody, if you've never done this event before, your start is at 3 p.m. for that wait staff training. And then about 3:30 we'll have some entertainment. Marcus Hansen, who's a wine sommelier, that's always a hard word, sommelier? Yeah, okay. I was always like, what is that word? And then he's like a wine specialist. He is an opera singer, and he knows a lot about wines. So he does some sampling, and then Lindsay Wallace also works at 3rd Street. So they have some tasting things that they do, and Marcus will do some singing. And then at 5 o'clock, the auction closes, and our dinner begins. We will do a game of heads or tails where people get to buy a chance, $5 a chance, and then we flip a coin and they choose the head or the tails, and they get a certain amount of money if they end up winning the pot. And then we do our live dessert auction. And then at 7:15-ish, people are checking out, and we are doing cleanup. So any questions about the schedule? It's a pretty full day. It's super fun. We'll talk a few more details in a minute. So next slide. So some of the expectations is that all of the youth are at the fundraiser now. We do have more youth than we've ever had before. So this means that if you have something going on, it's not a huge deal that you have to miss, because it's not like we will not have 40 tables at the dinner. And so we will pair one youth up with each table as a wait staff. But if you have, I think there's a hockey banquet that day. I've heard about a volleyball tournament. So I know there's other stuff going on. If you can't be there that day, we can find some things for you to do before or after. I always recruit someone to wash the linens and the aprons after the event. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen. Phone calls to people that didn't pick up their auction items, different things like that. So talk to me if you can't be here on the 15th. But really just the base expectation is that all the youth are here. But it's not only because you're raising money, but it's also a fellowship event for all the students going on the trip. It's a great bonding time. So we talked about the dinner tickets, and we don't want you to buy tickets for the youth. You will get fed. We will plan enough pasta for everyone to eat, but we only want to sell tickets to people that are actually sitting in chairs, because our hope is to sell out those 200 seats. And if you're working, we don't want to sell one to you, but if you are working, you will get to eat. And then we will, like the youth, you will eat in the living room once we've served all the other guests. And we're doing the dessert auction. I always have the seniors display the desserts, then the other youth will go and eat in the living room. So at the dinner, we'll each introduce ourselves. I think I'm going to do again this year what I did for the Belize trip. And so if someone really likes PowerPoint and is interested in helping with this, I'd love your time. Putting a slide with each one of the kids' pictures. So I'm collecting these photos, and if you look back, that's last year's photo board in the narthex. We're going to do another one of those for this year. And I haven't done this since Belize, but put together a slide of each one of the kids with their grade and name, and if this is their first trip or fourth trip or whatever, just so that people can watch that on a slideshow while the dinner is going and people are starting to eat. So if you like PowerPoint, that's a way that you can help. You're going to wear something black on bottom, white on top with the red apron. Girls sometimes have worn black, a full black dress, that's fine too. But black and white, and then we have red aprons. Wear some comfortable shoes. So the dessert auction is a very fun part of this event. All the desserts are auctioned off live, and so it's fun when they are homemade and there's some history to it. That will be shared. You'll get to write that down on a card, and then those items are, you know what a live auction is. Someone's talking about them and then getting bids from people on the spot. So this usually makes well over $2,000 just for that, for the dessert auction. You are going to keep track of your fundraising hours on your own, and if you would like to print the Google sheet that I send you, you can do that and write down your hours as you go, and then that's how you make your money. So whatever you do for working for this event, you are in charge of keeping track of it and turning it in to me by the 18th. If you would like to submit the Google Doc and have it just be all online, that's fine too, if that's easier. But that is your responsibility. I always have to track some down, and it takes quite a bit of time, so I really appreciate it when you get those done right away Sunday or Monday and get them to me so I can tally them up. Essentially what happens, all their hours go into a big pool, so I have a big spreadsheet, and I'll have the names of each kid, put in their hours that they worked, look at donations, look at, make sure that things got remembered like ticket sales and things like that, and then total everything up, and let's say we make $12,000, we divide it by the total number of hours that everybody worked. That gives us an hourly rate, and then everybody gets paid that. It's usually somewhere $22, $23 an hour. For the hours that they put into the fundraiser. And there's no taxes taken off of that. That's what Pastor Tim said earlier. It was kind of cute. So over $20 an hour you'll make for the time that you put in for this. So a big piece right now is helping us with donations. That's about the biggest thing that you can do. So your yellow sheet has information. This is about Sunday sales. So your white sheets actually has the event letter. It's like the donor letter that explains what we're doing and where we're going and why. It kind of is the heart of it, right? Like it shares that information about why we are doing what we're doing. So let's say the Rice family is out to dinner at Brickside, and they bring this with them, and they know the manager, and they ask to chat with him, and they share the letter and the donation form, and they are able to, they say, well, we'll buy a $50 gift card. Would you be willing to match it? That sort of thing works really well. If it's a place that you know that you're going to go to anyway. I have done that at a few places already. I did it at Iron Exchange in Maple Plains, so don't go there. Dave's Town Club already sent in. So there's just a few that we've secured. There are several places that donate every single year, but it takes a little bit of nudging, right? And they sometimes can't do it every single year, but I think it really helps when you are already at the location, frequenting it and supporting their business. It's easier for them to respond and see the importance of it if it's a place that, and you're asking personally. So what I would like to do, I will try to keep you updated about what places that we have already collected from. But if there are any youth that are willing to go together as a group, drive around and go to a place and bring the letter and the donation form, and just explain what you're doing and why you're going, and see if they're willing to make a donation. I would be willing to go with you for a little bit to get you started and help you feel comfortable. Anybody that does the donation collection, you'll see on the yellow sheet, if you sign up for that, you can get double hours for that. So that is kind of our incentive you put in an hour of work, you will get credit for 2 hours. I can't even, Avery and Emery, you did this last year. And I think you ended up getting like 7-8 different places that made donations that we had never gotten from Edie Mays before, and iSpa, and it helps so much. So talk to me if you have questions about that, but we really need your help with that. Think about business owners, handmade items, stuff that you have at home that might be unopened, like a gift that you received and you're not going to use. It can be in good condition, even if it's not brand new. There are times that, like, we have had construction digger toys last year we had that were donated that were really nice, and they had been in a toy box and played with some. They weren't in the package, but sometimes those things can still go for a decent amount. We like to have a variety, right? So some things, the values, it's nice that you can have something that's $10 all the way up to, hundreds. It helps to have that range. We need to have the donation form, because one of the hardest parts about getting the auction ready is if we have to do a ton of research about what the item is, what the description is, how much the value is, like that takes a ton of time. So anything that you donate, we do this for a lot of members already. We're just so grateful that they're donating that we'll do it for them. But you, as youth and parents going on the trip, we ask that you do that work before you turn in. So make sure that anything that you donate has one of these completed donation forms, the second white sheet that you got, especially with the value, right? Because it helps us so much when that information is already completed. Youth, you can also... let's see, I'm going to come back to that one, the certificate things. I have an example on, I think, one of the next sheets, or next slides. Go back one sec, Danny. Monday, March 9th is the kind of what we're saying for the deadline. Now, things will trickle in, but it helps us a ton if they're in before that. If you're willing to go to businesses, talk to me. We already talked about that. Okay, next slide. So if you are interested in making some sort of have a donation, like a lawn mowing, like I'll do 6 lawn mowing in the summer, or babysitting for up to 6 hours, 1 to 2 nights. Like you can put whatever specifics on it you want, and you can choose the value on it, all the different things. But we've had music lessons, we've had babysitting, we've had a dinner or like a boat cruise. We've had, my husband and I did a kayak trip last summer out in Wisconsin and took people down the St. Croix River for a kayak experience and a barbecue. Think of just creative ideas like that you might be able to, that might be appealing for someone to, that will draw some attention for the auction. So it helps us if you make the certificate, because we need to have something to give out when they win, right? Like they want to know, like, who do I contact to arrange things, all that stuff. So those certificates will all be in envelopes, and they know that they will get that handed when they check out. Let's see. Also on that certificate, if you're doing something like babysitting, the more information, the better. If you're like, you have CPR, first aid training, like all those sorts of things help. Okay, so this is ticket sales on the back of your yellow sheet. I want you to leave this here with me, but I decided to put the instructions for Sunday sales on the back so you could glance at that. But if you are helping, you see Equal Exchanges back there all the time. That is our coffee, tea, chocolate, all those items. And if you those are available for people to buy any Sunday, but if there is a Sunday that I'll have these on the sign up. If there is a Sunday that you are willing to work at that table, you could be there before and after worship and make, we pretty much just guarantee that you will make at least $20 an hour. Now, if you were at that table and you worked hard to, promote it to family and friends, and you sold, 2 cases of coffee, like you're going to get the proceeds from that. You won't just make $20 an hour, you'll make whatever you sell because you put the time and effort into it. So essentially, this is the sort of thing where you get out of it what you put into it, right? Like you can choose, but there are a lot of you, and so I need you to take the initiative on whether, whatever you want to raise is what effort you put into it is what you'll get out of it. So if you would like to sell equal exchange items, even not on a Sunday, right? Like you want to sell some of those to family and friends and neighbors, let's talk. I place orders for that very often. Right now we're actually out of chocolate, but You can look on the Equal Exchange website, and there's a lot more. I mean, there's dried mangoes and almonds, and there's all the, hot sauce, and it's just dates. Like, they have all these fair trade items. We only sell back here sort of the non-perishables, coffee, tea, and chocolate. So, but then at the same time, we will have a table where we are selling the spaghetti dinner tickets. So this kind of walks through. You can quickly glance through this. One of these will be at the table if you sign up to sell on a Sunday, so you don't have to, you're going to leave this with me tonight, but you can glance at it now. But you see a ticket up here, an example ticket on the screen, a little bit of changing with the prices. We left the adults at $15. We left the youth at $10, but we changed it from 4 years old to $5, and then I added a kid price of $5 for 2 to 4 year olds. Just thinking that, that age group still eats pasta and bread and, at least my kids did when they were even starting around 1, so cut up that pasta. So kids ticket for $5, and then that ticket, they don't need one of those per each person that they're buying for. It's really just a receipt. We keep track of it on a spreadsheet. You write down how, like, for example, we buy 2 adult tickets for Dave and I and 1 for Drew at a youth cost, and we paid $40 by check, and there were 3 tickets total. If they write the check for $50 and they said we'd like to donate the rest, you just make notes for that in there. Checks we can figure out. Cash is really hard to decipher because we don't know who it came from, so you have to write really good notes. Otherwise, I have to follow back up with people and figure out, like, was this all for you? Was there donation? Like, if I have $100 in cash and I don't know what it's for, then I have to be an investigator, and it takes a lot more time. So the more notes, the better. So they buy the tickets. You would write in there for our tickets, 2 adults, 1 youth, total paid $40, check. Hand that to them because then they have the QR code for the auction, and if you want to scan that, that is the actual auction site. That is the ticket for this year. And then they also have the schedule for the day. So they get to go home with that, and we keep the information on our spreadsheet. And then, really important, the money always has to go in our safe. If you have no idea where that is, that's fine. You either be a staff member, or Avery and Emery are actually, I've met with them. I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks coming up, and so, which is, I know, really mind-blowing timing, right? But, well, I'll come back to that. So Avery and Emery are going to coordinate the ticket sales while I am gone, so that there's someone setting up the table, making sure that the things are out, and they will be here to make sure that the money goes in the safe and that sort of thing. So if you have questions, one of them will always be here. Let's see, questions about any of the Sunday sales things? And this will be there, so you can always talk to Pastor Tim. Yeah, I've got extra sheets. I'll give, the white ones are all up here too, Rachel. I'll just help yourself. So we will sell tickets until they are gone at 200 or up until the day of the event. We'll kind of keep an eye on it and decide how much to purchase. We'll end up shopping. Our community life team is the one that helps us put on the spaghetti dinner. So Teresa Wallace actually is taking Jennifer Grant's position from past and running the dinner with me. So she will do all of the grocery shopping like Thursday, Friday, the day before. And Leslie is leading the auction. She will need a team of people that understand the checkout process and the money collection and all those sorts of things. So we'll be training those people. We will need people helping in with the dinner and the kitchen, all of that side of things. So there's lots of different ways that parents can also be involved. I'd recommend that you have one parent help so that everybody has an opportunity. We do need adults though. So if you are willing to put in a shift, the way that we do the hours for adults is that the kids get 100% of the hours, and the parents helping with the kids get half of their time, because part of what I don't want is that parents just work for their kids. So it is most important that the youth do the work and that they are here helping and being a part of the event. If you work 6 hours as a parent, you will get 3 of those hours for your kid. So I know it seems like, like it's just a way that we encourage the youth to work. You get something for it, but, we could just ask you to volunteer your time, so at least you're getting something out of it. Okay, next slide, Danny. I think there's a couple more. So adults, you can wear what's comfortable, but encourage the black and red and white. If you would like to know what's in your youth account, if you've gone on trips in past, Vicki Notzelman is in charge of those accounts, and she has your totals. And so just let me know after one of my emails, and I will connect you with her, and she will let you know like how much you currently have in your account. So essentially what happens if this is your first trip, you will have an account set up for you, and all of your money raised will get placed in that youth account, and it will stay there until you either use it or you graduate, give it to a younger sibling. It's never gone until if you're, Grace, I'm going to pick on you. So you're the youngest in your family. You got any money from your older brother Grant? Once you graduate and you are no longer going on trips, then if you have some money left over in your account, it goes back into our scholarship fund. So that's partially, if there is leftover money, that's how our scholarship fund keeps. I mean, there are always youth that have extra raised money that kind of helps feed that. Questions about the youth accounts? So we will have some pre-trip gatherings, so watch your email for those. I'd also really encourage you to attend youth events when you can. High schoolers can help as junior guides on Wednesday night with confirmation. There are special events like the Friday Night Lights and different things like that I encourage you to check out. And then we will have that one meeting on the April 22nd and at least one more fellowship event for each trip. Okay, couple more things. So tonight before you leave, turn in that job preference sheet. If you have a photo, leave that with me, or you can email me a digital copy. We'll get that board. Holly's working on that board for us. So it's just a really neat way to see. I mean, look, we still have last year's up, and every single Sunday, I see people glancing at that and just taking an interest in which youth, were on the trip. The confirmation trip, we probably, because registration is still going, I'm not sure if we'll have a photo board ready for that one so that's why I haven't even emailed. You're like, I haven't even heard anything about this if you're here for the confirmation trip. That board will probably, we'll see whether we can get the photos for that, and last year we had it on the bottom of that one, so if we can combine it, we will. Talk together about donations if you want to do a baby, like you can combine together, put together a babysitting certificate with a couple youth. Things like that are always awesome. And then talk about desserts, and you will get that sign up tomorrow online. And I recommend just one dessert per family or per youth right now to give everybody an opportunity. We typically only, not everybody has to do one, so we will stop at about, I think the most we've ever had is like 26 or something like that. It can go a long time, so we've tried to cap it at around 20. But do your best to make it a special dessert that, is something meaningful for you. Okay, questions? It's a lot of information, I know. No. Yep. Nope. Just an example. So they will be physical paper tickets at the table when people come to purchase. They will, so you could actually, I have enough of these yellow sheets that if you wanted to take one with you, you can, but it walks through, so like they come to the table and they buy their tickets, they tell you exactly what they want, they leave their money, it's all written down on the sheet that's at the table, which stays with us to have the information. The ticket is more of a receipt. So what you saw up there, they get to take home with them, but they don't need that to get in. They don't need, we have the list, and it's pretty low key. Nope. No, they do not need to. It's just encouraging family and friends. And if they don't come to our church and you would like, just email me, and I can put Terry in the spot. Terry sells them in the office, so like she's kind of doing it during the week for us. when people stop in, because she's here more consistently than I am. But people can email me too and just say I'm going to pay online, or I'll drop off a check. Like a lot of times I'll have the spreadsheet and it'll just say owes $20 until the money comes. And even if it's the day of the event, we plan on them, and then I will eventually be like a bill collector, so yeah. So, but no, each kid does not need to like sell a certain amount, but
I was just worried that like how that was tried. If like Zach were going out to sell
nope.
neighbors, how
Nope, it's all done through, here through us. Yep. So either before and after worship by emailing me or stopping at the office during the week. So it's a really fun day. We have, it's a great event with a lot of energy and excitement. And last year we raised like 12,100 something. We hope to do that again. So I should circle back now to my comment about being gone for a few weeks. So been working with Pastor Tim, just got it approved with council that I'm going to take a mini sabbatical. So I am taking 3 weeks off starting February 12th through about March 5th to get a little reprieve after some busy staff turnover over the last year and a half, with Pastor Tim starting a year ago, and doing some stuff to help fill in there as we had interns and stuff, and working with the transition with the children's ministry. So I'll be doing some reading and writing and a lot of guitar and sitting in the woods, trying to decompress a little bit, and then I will be probably in panic mode the last week before the event on March 15th. But and so yes, it will be a blessing to own.
I can say she is more than earned, right? And that means that though you have questions for her, and you know I don't know as much, you will ask me instead of her, and text me instead of her, and we will figure it out, and it will work. And when she gets back, she will save our Megan for anything that we didn't figure out correctly.
It'll all work out.
We're looking forward to that, but we're trying to do that to protect her time of rest and recuperation, so that she can come back with joy and energy for the job.
So any questions around anything? Well, some of us might go cheer on the hockey team. So I'll stick around for a little bit. Thank you so much for making time. I'll send out the link for this, the PDF of the slides, all the forms, and the sign up with places for you to sign up to volunteer. So, and don't hesitate to ask, but ask before February 12th. No, I'm just kidding. I will not probably even have my phone. You can come turn in sheets up here. I'm not going to respond to anything during that time, but I will give you information on who to ask during that time, like auction questions, talk to Leslie, dinner questions, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you so much. Excited about our coming adventures and all of you that are coming with.